Be blessed by the divine, be blessed by the divine, be blessed by the divine. May Guru's blessings help us successfully complete today's session. Good evening, all. Our topic for today's food for thought is 5 steps for holistic living. The fact is that today there's a lot of awareness about spirituality and good health, and so many people, especially youngsters, have actually come up with having a lifestyle that is good for themselves, good for the society, and good for the overall very, very good one. And it is a sort of a trend even today. We can even say it's a sort of a trend that is going on between among the youngsters to have a living that is have a nature of living that is holistic or calm and soothing for them rather than having a harsh life. Though there are so many people who try to inculcate this within their lifestyles, try to have a holistic living, not many, or you can say not all, know what actually holistic living is. So let's see what Maharishi has given us. First, what is holistic living? How do we define holistic living or a lifestyle that is holistic? So, holistic living involves a living that is in balance with your mind, body, and spirit. Holistic living enables you to balance out your life in a variety of areas like relationships or health or mind health or social well-being, just anything. Most of this year comes under having a holistic living, or in overall look, or in general we can just say having living a holistic life is a life that is peaceful, calm, and blissful for life. Now we shall see what Maharishi has given us to have a proper mind view and to live a holistic life. As the title suggests, we know there are 5 means or things that we have to remember to live a holistic life on the perspective of Vedati Maharishi. Before we start with the definitions and what are the 5 steps, we shall start with a story. A story that Maharishi has given us. Maharishi has narrated in several events. So the story goes like this. There was a boy who goes out down the streets at night. Being night, he cannot see much of what is going on, what is on the road. So suddenly as he moves, he suddenly stops and he starts shivering. He gets scared of something. He just sees the road in front of him and he gets scared. So the person nearby just comes over and asks, what is wrong with you? Is something that scares you over here? So then the boy says that I think there's a snake lying there on the road. So the person there also gets not very much scared, but definitely when a person hears about something unusual, they get scared because that is not under their power or control. So they get scared. So what happens in this story comes along with the 5 steps. So we shall see each one slowly. So the first step is physical body. To live a holistic life, you will need a fit, proper physical body. So why physical body? Why there's so much emphasis on physical body that it is the first stage of holistic living? We know our body has been a part of us since our birth. So this primary thing is so much important in something reaching living a holistic life, a spiritual life. So what is so important about our body? If we see, just compare our body organisms, the working of our body, with a single celled or a very small multicellular organism, maybe a bacteria or a plant or something, a small plant. So we can see how grateful, how majestic our body is. and how much grateful we have to be because for our body, that we don't have any defects in our hands or legs, we don't have any sensory organ problems. We have to be so grateful that we are all fine with our body. We have all our five senses are working, all our arms and legs and every organ in our body functions properly. We have to be very grateful for that. So we know through the evolutionary process what all happened from single cell organisms to till us, the multicellular organisms. So many things have evolved with time, with a long period of time. So did the body and the structure and the working of each organ and function of each organ has changed around. So we know, we have learned a lot in biology. Cells are the basic unit of our body. So what makes this body, this majestic body of ours, so special in terms of having a holistic living? If we see so, we can consider a body with that of a transport. If we want to go somewhere, we need a transport. Either it can be a car, a bike, or even public transportation. We need some sort of a transport for movement. So our body is such a transport. In order to achieve, in order to go to our destiny, in order to reach the Almighty and merge with the Almighty, a physical body is required. Not just any physical body, but a fit, proper physical body. What defines or what judges that the physical body is perfect, it is the body is correct and fit and healthy, is maybe some people start doing yoga, or some people start doing gymnastics in order to get more flexibility in their bodies, and so we can say they are not fit, but not that they are 100% fit with their physical body, but we can just grade them up to some level. So Maharishi has given us the very known, very popular the exercises that Maharishi has given us. If we just follow our very own exercises, that's very much enough for having a fit physical body. Now, if we take the example of the snake, the person who had asked the boy what was the problem, then besides being scared of the snake, if it was a snake, he just thinks as being an adult, he did have so many experiences, so he starts saying, okay, let's go see what's there. So the first thing he says is, you have to have a physical body. Now here also physical body comes first, because suppose if that is a snake, then you should be able to run as quick as possible. You have to move away from it. So physical body is important here. If you have a leg pain or you cannot run fast, so that would be a problem here. So physical body is needed. You can see in so many situations, physical body is the first thing that that comes into mind, or that comes in primary, very essential, or comes to the first priority. You can take any example. Even for preparation for something, you need physical body. If you cannot sit long in a particular position, then that means you're not physically fit, and hence you cannot do the work 100% or to the ability. Similarly happens with so many governmental posts like police officers or army officers. Being physically fit is extremely important. Not just in that case, even having a normal life also requires, being a part of the normal society also requires physical fitness. So it is important that our physical body is correct and fit. So we ask the question, why the physical body is important, or why the physical body should be fit, or why should we be fit? Then the answer is the next stage, that is mind. So only when the transport is properly is fully functional, that the engine starts working. So here, our mind. What is mind? We have already seen in so many classes. Mind, or it is the physique extension. It is a compilation of so many of all our experiences. It is a compilation of our thoughts and thinking. So mind is the second stage, And in order for us to concentrate on our mind, we have to first finish and complete the level 1, that is physical body. We have to win physical body, the level 1, and then come on to the second level, that is mind. Only when our physical body is all fit and ready, we can go to the next level or think about mind. So what is mind? We know physical body, it is physique extension of soul. It is a compilation of so many thoughts, compilation of our experiences, etc. For this, we can take the example of the snake. So suppose they do not go near the snake yet. So the man says, okay, your physical body is fine. Okay. The boy says that I'm fine. I don't have any problem. I can run fast. Okay. So the person says, okay. So the next step is, you should be mentally strong. That is, when you go near the snake, you shouldn't start shivering like this, how we are shivering right now. You should be strong. You should be courageous that if it is a snake, you have to be ready to. It is only when the engine starts, the transport moves. So suppose if the engine does not start, even if the transport is fully functional, it cannot move. It is because it's just the external portion. The internal or the interior should be perfect. So that is, the interior means the mind should be perfect. So if that is the snake, then you should be ready to run. Maybe your legs are ready to run, but not your mind, because you are scared. So that shouldn't happen. For this, we can also take an example of a wrestler or a bodybuilder. You can say, even after having so much after doing so much of heavy workouts, building their body so heavily, if the person is not courage enough, it is good for nothing. There's no use of them building their body so big, so majestic, that they cannot even go and participate in a wrestling match because they are scared of being beaten up. So though physical body is important, our mind is the one that helps operate the physical body properly. So it is important that our mind is also mind well-being is also important, and we must take care of the mind. So how can we take care of the mind? So Maharishi has given us the meditations and introspections for us to introspect ourselves, sharpen our minds, and once our physical body is ready, then automatically after doing meditations and introspecting ourselves, our mind will also be ready. Okay, but for what should our mind be ready for? If we ask this question, if this question arises, the answer is the third stage or the third level or third step, that is social well-being. That is, since we have introspected ourselves and our minds are it's open-minded, so we can have good relationship with the society, relationship with our family, with our parents, with our children, with our relatives, with our siblings, just in general, the entire society. So why should we, if we ask this question again, if this question arises, why should we have a good relationship with the society? The answer is, we've not come to this earth or to this world all alone. We are born and we've come because of a society. We are in a part of the society. We are what today because of this society, and hence it is important that, and also the society has given us a lot of things. So we have some due. We've borrowed something, so we have to return it back. So that is the due to the society, is what we call this is duty towards society. So in order to fulfill our duties, in order to complete our duties properly, we have to have a good relationship with our society. If we don't like our society, then even if we do, if we perform our duty, we will not be as satisfied. So it is important that we have a good relationship with our society, a good relationship with our friends, good relationship with our relatives and our family members, for us to have a proper social well-being, a social health, to have a proper fit social health. So if we take the example of the snake, if we go back to the snake, so the person first asked that you have to be physically fit. The boy told yes, he was fit. Then he asked if there was he had enough courage that even if he saw that, and even if he knew it was the snake, that he would have the courage to run away. So he said yes, I do have. Okay, third point, he tries and looks after if there are any people around, that is, if any person is around, if any of their friends could come over and help them out. So that is, when we are as a society, when we are as a group of people, it gives us much more courage, it gives us much more satisfaction if we do our work properly. So it is important that we have a good social well-being. So the person looks after if there's any person around who can help them out, or if any friend who is also courageous and can come over and help us figure it out what it is, actually a snake or something else. So this is what happens, and the person tries and calls a few of the friends, suppose in the example. So social well-being is done. So first physical body was done, then mental health, then social well-being. So why do we have to do all these three things? If we see in total, why should we take care of a physical body? And because why that gives us the answer for mental health. Why should we take care of our mental health? To have a good relationship with the society. Now why should we take care of all these three things? If we ask this question, the thing is, or in other words, you can say, why should our mind be purified? Answer to this question is for the clearance or for the purification of our genetic center. So we know that our mind captures all the experiences, it shrinks them and keeps it somewhere. So where does it keep it? So we can say the genetic center is a storage box for the mind, wherein all our experiences, all our imprints, all our sins, all our karmas are all present. So it is a storage box of our goodness and our badness, our soul's goodness and our badness. So it is important that we start, once we are ready with everything else, we should start decluttering within ourselves. So within ourselves, that includes genetic center. So when we start decluttering our genetic center, if we try to analyze what could affect or what could be the bad present in our genetic center, that would be our karmas, our sins, our bad deeds, bad imprints, etc. So how should we clean that? That is again by either putting on so many good deeds, much more good deeds, or doing meditations and all, introspecting ourselves. We can make ourselves much more purified through these means as well. So in the snake story, so the person has called a few of their friends as well. So now the person tells the boy that if it is a snake, you shouldn't hit it. Why? If the snake is hit and dies, or if the boy kills the snake, that will become a imprint, a sin in the genetic center of the boy. So it is important that we shouldn't keep building up our karmas, our sins. Instead, put up good karmas and try to cleanse it out. Putting some very good things over a few bad things will definitely prioritize the good ones. So it is important that we keep putting on good things, even without acknowledging if we have any bad is good. If there is bad, that gets purified, but if there is nothing, then that is also for good, because you only have good sins with you, only good karma with you. So now our physical body is ready, we have good mental health, social well-being is all done, and we have cleansed our genetic center. Now why should we cleanse our genetic center? For this we can take a few relatable everyday thing. Suppose a guest comes over to our house, what do? if some elderly people or some very respected people in the society come to our house, or just respected people in our minds come to our house, what do? We clean our house. No matter if it was earlier clean or not, we just declutter, try to declutter as much as we can, even if there's nothing. Why is it so? Because it is not for showcasing or exhibiting that we are perfect, we are someone who takes care of good care of our house. It is not just for that. It is a way of showing our gratitude and respect for them. This is just a case of a guest. Now if we see and analyze within ourselves, who are we? We are just a very minute particle of the Almighty. So, cleansing a genetic center means that we are getting ready in order to look after or to understand and merge with the Almighty. So, merging with someone from whom we've borrowed something, we've borrowed this life, this small particle of Almighty from Him, from the Almighty. So, when we give it back to Him, it should be as pure as it was earlier. So, in the evolutionary process, in the first stage, it was very pure. It is after through all this long evolutionary process that there are so many imprints in us, in our soul. So when we give it back to the Almighty, our soul should be purified, just as how it was in the initial stage. So this is why we have to clean our genetic center. So once we start cleaning and we have somewhat cleansed our genetic center, then it is time for us to give it back to the Almighty. So this giving back does not mean taking out and giving it. Just understanding and realizing ourselves also can mean the same. This is what is the last step of a holistic living. That is the final stage of holistic living. That is Brahmanyana, or realization of truth. Another definition for Brahmanyana, or realization of the Almighty, can be understanding the reality of real things. That is, understanding the truth and understanding what is real and what is a Maya. We've already seen earlier about Maya and what is Jnana. So, understanding the reality of the real things can also be termed as Brahmanyana, or realization of God. So we've borrowed something from the Almighty. We've made it kind of. We've put so many bad things in it. So then we are decluttering it, cleansing it, and then giving back to the Almighty. This entire process is is what has happened all through the evolutionary process, and why the soul has become a human being, in order to cleanse out all these karmas, imprints, and end the birth cycle and merge with the Almighty. This is what also happens in so many people's life. So many people try to incorporate this in life, but somewhat go in some other directions. But Maharishi has given us very clear things, very clear, detailed, step-by-step explanation for each and every level, what to do, what not to do. And if we look after the snake, so the person asks the boy not to kill the snake, otherwise that will lead to absorption of taking of even more sins. So this is done. Now what else is left? The last is understanding that even if that is a snake, even if the snake bites us, that is also that also has the same particle that we have in ourselves. That is, the minute particle of the Almighty is present in me as well as in the snake, or not just in snake, in every other living creature on this planet, on not planet, this entire universe, entire space. So with this realization is very important for us to understand and live properly, live a holistic living. So in order to summarize what we've seen all this while, we can also take another example that will also become a summary for what we've seen till now. These things somewhat happen a lot in India. We've traveled a lot in public transports. we know that the public transports in India are not very much as sophisticated as in the UAE. So, suppose we are boarding on to a bus. We have to be clear and have the thought that if there is no seat, if we cannot find a space for ourselves, then we have to stand. If we have to stand in the bus for a long journey, then you will have to require good physical fitness. Require good physical fitness. That is, your legs should be strong enough to sustain and stand in a place for a quite long period of time. The second thing is, even if you have the strength in your legs, even if your legs have the strength, your mind should have the courage, and your mind should have the potential and strength to stand. If your mind is like starts blaming and complaining about the government or the bus or everything, then that means you cannot stand longer. Your mind should be courageous enough as well here. So if your mind is courageous enough and your physical body is fit, then you can stand for long period of time. Suppose if a friend of yours enters, so what happens? The bus. So the time just runs away when you start having good conversation with them. Even if you stand for a long period of time, you do not have much pain, you do not feel much pain, because you are talking with your friend, you are having a good conversation and time with your friend. So that is social well-being. And when you are talking, suppose a differently abled person enters or an elderly person enters the bus, and by the time the person enters, you got a seat and you sat down. So now, if the elderly person or the differently able has come near you, and if you stand up and give them your seat, that means you're adding on good karmas to your genetic center. Even if you don't give, but the person insists you to give, that I cannot stand longer, please can you stand and lend me the seat. So if you didn't give, that means there will be a negative karma, or you can say a sin will be imprinted in your genetic center. So that will lead to continuous birth cycle. So this is important, that we have to take care when we have to cleanse our mind. Even such small actions also build up our genetic center. So it is important that we make sure we do every little action correctly without hurting others. Suppose if you lend them a seat, if you let them sit in your seat, that is when you realize, if you give them the seat, that is when you realize that the same minute particle of Almighty which is in me is in that person, that is making you ask to lend a seat. So this realization is the purpose of this human life. If you understand and realize this, this is the destiny, this is the destination that you wanted to reach. So with this, we shall conclude today's session. Thank you all for so patiently listening all this while. And also I would like to thank the Sky Masters in charge for providing me such a great opportunity. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine.